Hello everyone, I'm Michael Serapio. It's no secret that Justin Trudeau is trailing in the polls, trailing for well over a year and trailing badly since last summer when Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives opened up a double-digit lead over the Liberals and have not looked back. It has led to recurring questions about the Prime Minister's leadership and reportedly led a close friend to consider his own leadership aspirations once again.
Welcome to today's video, folks. As we all know, Justin Trudeau has not been doing well as of recently with the external factors of the Conservative Party and Pierre Poilievre dominating in all of the recent polls, showing that the Conservatives are sitting in a very safe majority win, sitting anywhere between 206 to 210 projected seats. Today, they're sitting at 207 projected seats if the election were held today. What's more interesting is that Justin Trudeau now has some internal risks to worry about, and that's in the form of Dominic LeBlanc, longtime friend of Justin Trudeau going all the way back to childhood. And what gives us further credibility is that Dominic LeBlanc has expressed interest in the past of running for Prime Minister of Canada. Given Justin Trudeau and the Liberals' really low approval rating in all of the polls, right now could be an opportunistic time for Dominic to throw his hat in the ring. So with that out of the way, let's jump into the video.
Again, take a listen to what we heard from the Public Safety Minister, Dominic LeBlanc, earlier this week.
Do you plan to run for Liberal leader?
No, I plan to be a candidate in the next election under Prime Minister Trudeau's leadership. I'm very happy. I'm excited about that. I'm focused on the responsibilities he gave me.
Well, to discuss the matter, we're now joined by our weekly journalist panel. Robert Fife is the Ottawa Bureau Chief for The Globe and Mail. Stephanie Levitz, the Deputy Ottawa Bureau Chief for The Toronto Star. And Joël Denis Bellevance, the Ottawa Bureau Chief for La Presse. Hello to you all.
Hello.
To you. So, you know, we all heard it, Dominic LeBlanc saying that the next election is for the Prime Minister to lead, but he's not denying any type of meeting he's had to explore his own options. You know, what does this say about unity within the Liberal ranks, or at the very least, the questions being asked about the future of the Prime Minister right now? Bob?
Well, we all know that everybody in the ministers' offices who want to run for the leader have been talking about this for many, many months of whether he's going to stay or go. They all want him to go. Nobody's going to say that publicly, but the writing is on the wall because Mr. Trudeau's approval ratings and the Liberal Party's approval ratings are really in the dumps. And a lot of people feel that should he leave, that would open the door to the possibility that the Liberal Party can come back. Even though Mr. Poilievre is way ahead in the polls, it not necessarily means that people like him, but they're just fed up with Trudeau. And another alternative might change the whole picture. We don't know that. I mean, you know, politics is like that. But it certainly is, given the fact that it was Dominic LeBlanc, one of his best friends, one of the most competent cabinet ministers, a very smart, savvy political operator, who I expected him after the column came out, he'd come out and say, no, I'm not interested in running at all. He didn't do that. Yeah. And that sent a real signal to everybody in the political establishment of, something is going on here. Yeah, I don't think that's going to necessarily work because I think people have stopped listening to Justin Trudeau. I think they're just fed up with him. And also the budget, it's got some good measures in it, but now we're starting to see a lot of real serious criticism about it from people who are affected by it. Doctors, for example, or people who want to sell their cottages, or entrepreneurs who want to invest in the innovation economy. That begins to undermine people's, are these guys really good at this anymore? They're good at spending money, but are they really good at getting policies out the door? And, you know, the housing measures, for example, they're fine ideas, but they're not going to work overnight. So, I just think that I think voters are fed up with Mr. Trudeau, and he's got to make a decision to think about the party rather than himself.
Yeah, and too, that I remember when the Liberal had their caucus in London, Ontario, I was wondering how good are they at reading the public opinion anymore? Because going in, they said, oh, everyone cares about the environment, and leaving, oh, it's all about housing. Didn't he?
The other thing that is, I think, an element to consider is that Mr. Trudeau has lost all provincial allies. And the last one standing was the provincial premier of Newfoundland and Labrador. Although the BC premier is an NEP, but I think he's an ally, Mr. Trudeau. But it's a difficult one because everybody's throwing stones at him, even provincial premiers, and that's happening in the House of Commons. And more you will see the NDP here, the political ally of the Liberals, doing the same thing. So Mr. Trudeau might be thinking that he's the best one to sell the Liberal message, but you've got so many people throwing stones at you. People can't hear you because you're saying ouch all the time.
Well, cast your mind back to 2015 when Stephen Harper was throwing all kinds of money at Canadians for that whole summer and leading up to the election campaign. And it didn't matter to anybody. And he was also, very disparaging of Mr. Trudeau as sort of some kind of a lightweight. Well, they're disparaging of Mr. Poilievre as some, little Trumpian guy. I'm not sure any of this stuff works when you reach the end of your term.
I think it goes also within the Liberal ranks that if we elect a new leader now, will we sacrifice our new leader for nothing? And that's one of the element that the Liberals are thinking about. If we have a new leader, will that leader do better? Or are we going to the slaughterhouse with a new leader and it won't change anything? So that's part of the thinking that is going on, and we'll see. Mr. Trudeau still has some months to go, but I'm told that after this session, the big thinking will start for real.
Yeah.
Okay, so some really good points made there on both sides, that Justin Trudeau is very unpopular, very low chance of winning the next election. However, it could also be a bit of a dangerous situation for Dominic LeBlanc as well, stepping into the party at this time, just given the fact that there still would be a very low opportunity for him to win the next federal election for the Liberal Party. However, if Dominic should lose this federal election, he can always blame that on Justin Trudeau, his unpopular policies, and still run again in the next federal election. As well, let's be honest, 4 years down the road, people will still remember Justin Trudeau quite well, his policies. So really, Dominic LeBlanc is entwined with Justin Trudeau. They've been childhood friends, they share a lot of the same policies, so you know what? It might not be any better for him if he waits, so it might be now or never for Dominic. I have another video from Tom McClare as he's being interviewed by the CTV regarding his thoughts on Justin Trudeau running in the next federal election. He's also going to touch on Dominic LeBlanc and the rumors circulating that he is vying for Justin's spot. So let's go ahead and check out that video.
Start with that Dominic LeBlanc story, because I find this kind of palace intrigue very, very interesting. Your thoughts?
LeBlanc has been an incredible Trudeau loyalist all along. I sometimes joke that he's Trudeau's Rudy Giuliani when they're in a real spot and something absolutely absurd has to be given as an excuse or an explanation. Give it to Dominic. He'll say anything. But he's a smart guy. He went to a top U.S. university, and he has toyed with the idea of becoming party leader before. In the setup to the story we just did on the Lawrence Martin article in today's Globe and Mail, it's important to realize who Lawrence Martin is. This is not some run-of-the-mill columnist. It's not a cub reporter. This is one of the most experienced, seasoned, credible voices on Parliament Hill. And for him to take pen to paper and to put that out, it's because he's got really solid information. I found it fascinating that Dominic LeBlanc arrived, gave lines. So, what we do in politics is sometimes you get briefed by a staffer, say this. You don't always have time. He came, went before the microphone, showed just what a seasoned pro he is, and just rattled off, I love my job, I love my prime minister, and I love running in the next election, thank you. And then somebody said, but have you been having talks? And he said, I've already answered that. But of course, he hadn't. And he didn't want to answer it because he didn't want to lie to the cameras. And Lawrence Martin wouldn't have put that out unless he actually knew what he was was talking about. So yes, it's quite obvious that Dominic LeBlanc has the wherewithal, the experience, and the ability to pretend, to claim the right to run in that race, eventually to replace Trudeau. I think that it's obviously up to Trudeau. If this is all about how well they're going to do after the budget, well, let's wait for the next few days for the polls to start rolling out. But I'm not very optimistic for them that this budget is going to turn anything around.
Gosh, I've got so many questions for you now after you said all that. So let me start with, do you think Justin Trudeau, yes or no, is going to stick around for the next election?
No, I don't, because he's got a whole future career ahead of him, and he will be in demand to be on the boards of directors of some of the biggest companies in the world. He will get major appointments. He'll make a lot of money. And why would he stick around to get the tar beaten out of him by Pierre Poilievre if he remains 20 points behind in the polls? So I honestly don't think. I think he's giving himself until the end of this session. He's got the summer to really think about it. He's hit every button on the dashboard, and he still hasn't been able to calm down the red flashing lights.
That's our video for today, folks. Thank you for watching till the very end, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, or share this video. It really helps me in further growing this channel and to put more time into building more videos for your content. So with that out of the way, thank you for joining me. You take care of yourself, and we'll see you next time.